All right, so before this ships out, I want to do something on YouTube that can better explain things with youth sets and the baby size versus what I'm going to be marketing as like the youth set, especially as far as like size and price range, you know. So I sent something out to a friend of mine's son for Christmas, and he wound up with a really nice tool belt, and it got a lot of traction. It got a lot of views on Instagram when they started posting about it and whatnot. But either way, what he got was like what I'm marketing as like an adult set. He got my trim set, and it was like 7 inches wide. I sized things down just a little bit so that it would fit his like kid body, right? But the build is 100% like the same as an adult set. It's, you know what I mean? There's there's nothing really about it that would make it like, just because it was on a kid, make it some like Fisher Price kind of a price range, you know what I mean? So like his fastener pockets are like full on what I sell for an adult set, you know what I mean? And I had gotten a lot of asks like, yo, could you make my 5-year-old something? Could you make my 8-year-old something? That'd be so cool. When we started talking prices, you know, you figure what, 95% of people were like, yeah, right, you know what I mean? So I want to show a current child's setup and talk about what the financial commitment for this would need to be, just to be able to direct someone to a lengthier video just explaining what and why. All right, so this is the baby length. All right, the youth length is going to be 10 long, and that way I can actually get like the real deal hammer sleeve and whatnot on there. And you figure like your 12-year-old, you're going to want to give them, you know, a lighter hammer, but like something roundabout full-size hammer, you know what I mean? Whereas like your 5-year-old, like you're not going to stick a framing hammer on this thing and be like, all right, go get it, kid, you know what I mean? This is more of a novelty kind of a thing, you know? This is going to a little girl who's, she's older, right? Then we'll say she's what, maybe 5, 6, something like that, I'm pretty sure. She's a very small 5 or 6-year-old, so she should be in this size, but because she's a bit older and she's going to be like active with dad, learning and whatnot, we worked it out where she's getting like an 1.5-inch buckle, whereas I would have a 2-inch buckle on the adult size belt. You know what I mean? It's basically the same build for the belt. No loops for hooking up to suspenders, but nonetheless, like this belt build, it's the adult build, just sized way down for a kid, you know what I mean? It's like I can't justify selling this belt for like $30 just because it's on some little kid, you know what I mean? I am willing to work it out where the baby set will get 1-inch webbing with a 1-inch plastic clip and be really simplified as far as the belt build. You know what I mean? You're going to fall into like a $150 to $200 range for a full set this size, but built in the baby way, where there's going to be no hammer sleeve. There's not going to be anything on the outside of these pouches other than one 4.5-inch wide, you know, small fastener pouch. I'll do one little guy and one little guy inside that, and that would be in the $150 to $200 price range for a baby belt. You know what I mean? This pad is 19 long, you know what I mean? She's 23 inches around, something like that, right? So for like the youth set, what I'm figuring is closing them up the same way. You know, I can't justify like just basically like handing these out. You know what I mean? Built this way for like a $250 price range with, you know, we'll call it bells and whistles, but with more of a standard kind of a thing. Knife, pencil, a loop around on the tool side, the option for a side-by-side or a single fastener pocket, maybe a pass-through for a long screwdriver or something like that, beater, chisel. And I'll dress things up a little bit where like this guy I have 1, 2, 3 interior. Like I just said, option for a side-by-side. Like this takes time, this takes material, takes thought. It's going to have to cost a bit more than that like $150 price range for the baby size. You know what I mean? One more quick look with what I'm planning on doing for the youth sizes. 10 long, like I said. I'm able to actually get like real deal stuff on there. A little wider. I figure I'll do these probably 8 wide. You'll still be able to get a full-size speed square in it. And I can do the more standard issue kind of thing. And I can get them built, you know what I mean? Where they get like a real belt build. And then I just kind of like cheapen it up a little bit, you know, so it can be affordable for a kid's size. I can cheapen it up a little bit by closing it up the way some other people do. So yeah, I mean, quick impromptu just to try to go over this and explain why things need to cost what they cost, right? You know what I mean? So many people hit me up for this kind of a thing on Instagram recently, and it's like, yeah, like I said, like explaining prices to people, like just because it's going to be, just because you saw something on an 8-year-old boy doesn't mean that it's like $60 to get this shipped to you. You know what I mean? These things take time. This is like the real materials. The webbing's doubled up. You know what I mean? That costs me money. And there's actual time and thought into that. You know, just because it's small doesn't mean it doesn't take more than just a couple minutes to make that. You know what I mean? I guess that'll be it for this. As I come up with like more examples, I'll put more impromptu videos out. I figure I might as well build a standard youth set so that I can give a good example for one, and two, really hone in on how much these things are going to need to cost. You know what I mean? I have a lot of people that have been hitting me up, and I feel weird about even getting back to them because I don't have a good example of like what would be that $250 to $300 price range for a belt for their 12-year-old boy. You know what I mean? But yeah, hopefully I'll have something like that out for people to see soon. And thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me stammer on. Hopefully that's helpful to someone that's been trying to like reach out and just kind of like understand pricing. You know what I mean? If you're interested in something like this, feel free to hit me up on Instagram. Just keep in mind that I can't simply build this for $60 to $100. Like this is, you know what I mean? This is more complex than that. And you know, we can work something out where I dial it down. You know what I mean? But it can really only be dialed down so much for me to like actually spend the time and build it and ship it out to you. Once again, hopefully that helps somebody. Thanks for watching.